Can you help? Can you help me? Can you help? Self-Helpless! Can you help? Can you help me? Can you help? Self-Helpless! Can you help? Can you help me? Can you help? Self-Helpless!
This episode of Self-Helpless is brought to you by Care Of, a wellness brand that makes it easy to get the right vitamins, supplements, and protein powders for your specific needs. For 50% off your first Care Of order, visit takecareof.com and enter promo code HELPLESS50.
And thanks to HelloFresh for supporting Self-Helpless. HelloFresh shops, plans, and delivers step-by-step recipes and pre-measured ingredients so you can just cook, eat, and enjoy. Get 9 free meals with HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com/helpless9 and use the code HELPLESS9. That's HELPLESS and the number 9.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Self-Helpless. I'm Taylor Tomlinson.
I'm Kelsey Cook.
I'm Delaney Fisher.
And we have got your topic today. You guys voted on it on Patreon, and we are doing it. We're finally working in a male-dominated field.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Helpster's choice, y'all.
Highly
Yes.
requested for a while.
Highly
People,
requested
Yes.
for a very long time.
people have been wanting it.
So we're finally
Yeah.
getting around to it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about what fields are male-dominated, why women don't participate in these spaces as much, and advice for how to thrive in those fields if you are not a man.
not a man.
If you're the man.
We have a quotable.
Hit me.
This is from Sheryl Sandberg. It's in her in her book called Lean In, Women Work and the Will to Lead. And the quote is, "We cannot change what we are not aware of, and once we are aware, we cannot help but change."
Mm-hmm.
Boom, Sheryl.
Boom,
Dropping that
Cheryl.
truth bomb.
Knowledge is power. Okay?
Yes. I like that.
I
Yeah.
really like that. Although I will say, once I am aware of my issues, I cannot always change them immediately.
That is true.
Totally. It takes
Yeah.
it's a process.
It is a process.
Because habits, certain habits you've had your entire life.
Yeah.
You can't just undo those in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
they
know,
are.
it's got to ease into it.
Yeah.
I feel to me like isn't she speaking a little bit more of like once we see like injustice in the workplace,
Maybe, yeah.
we gotta change it.
That's true. I made it about me because I'm a narcissist. But you're probably right. It's probably
Well,
about the
you'd hope
world.
so.
I felt like it's a little bit more like Beyonce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we need to.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
change.
right.
I feel like a lot of people see injustice and they're still afraid to do stuff about it, though.
Yeah.
I think we'd like to think you see injustice and we're like, all right, we're going to fucking do this.
Are you saying
saying
injustice?
Injustice. What
You
did
said
I say?
injustice?
Oh, my God.
You said injustice
Injustice!
twice.
You did. I was
my
going to
God,
let it go
twice.
the first time.
Injustice. What? Okay, you guys, it's like 12 a.m. here. I don't know. It's late.
It's like 9, but you know.
To Delaney. It's my bedtime. It's like, oh my God, what was I doing the other day where was I saying eco-friendly instead of eco-friendly?
Oh, no.
Sometimes in my head it sounds great, and then when it comes out of my body, it's like something happened. It's like a game of telephone. Sorry, guys.
Both you and me were like, we're going to let the first one go.
We did.
And then you said injustice again, and I was like, we cannot let this be the representation of our entire podcast. If there's a new listener, I mean, people are judgy. You know, if
People
somebody's
are judgy.
listening in for the first time and their first 30 seconds is somebody saying injustice twice, I'm like, listen.
I know. And you know what the worst is? I know logically it's injustice, you know?
Yeah.
I read books, you know? But like, hey, sometimes it just doesn't.
okay.
It doesn't compute. But you
That's
know,
okay.
injustice, opposite of justice, you guys. It works.
Oh my goodness.
What a new word here.
You are not going outside enough, I think is what
You
You've been talking to your dog too much.
I really am not. Yeah, I'm using too much baby voices all day and then no real human interaction.
you're starting to use the reasoning that you use for your outfits toward the English language, where you're like, you know what? I like it.
I like it.
So
It covers
accept me for who I am. It's going too far. Where we have to be like, no, that's not a word. That's not a word, though.
Oh, you guys, I apologize for my injustice.
Your butt.
My unjust behavior. Alrighty, what are we doing here? Stats
wanna-
and facts? We
Yep.
ready to set this baby up? All right,
Go for
guys.
it, Del.
Here we go. Male-dominated occupations are those that compromise 25%.
No. That's not the word.
But there's a typo in the document, to be fair. That's not your fault.
Male-dominated occupations are those
That are comprised.
that are comprised of 25% or fewer women.
I like that we still let you read it, even
What are you
after
guys-
all of
what are you guys
this.
doing here? This is why I don't do the intros. I don't do. You guys do the setup and I'll chime in when I need to.
Come in with your dad jokes.
It's it's just one of those days where your brain is just melted and it's just nothing.
That's okay. We love you. We give you shit because we love you, but we don't judge
Do
you.
we understand what this stat meant? Should I reread?
We'll just, one more time. Male-dominated occupations are those that are comprised of 25% or fewer women.
There you
Yes.
go. Bingo.
Bingo.
Basically what I said.
Bingo was his name.
There we go. So 25% of U.S. architects are female. 5.2% of U.S. aircraft pilots are female.
Oh, wow.
3.5% of U.S. firefighters are women.
Whoa.
That's higher than I thought.
That's lower than I
That's really
thought.
low, I feel like.
I've never seen a female firefighter.
Really?
Huh.
Not even on TV?
Yeah, on the TV I
No.
see them. I've never really
Whoa.
just seen firefighters in person, really.
Neither do I.
Unless
They're
meet-
always fighting
meet
fires.
them in like regular people
Yeah,
clothing.
or eating at
Or
like
date
Chipotle
them.
or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I don't even know if I've ever met a firefighter. I feel like I hear about them.
I know they're out there.
I know they're out there. I feel like I'll hear like somebody, so-and-so is dating a firefighter. And
did.
you're
Yeah.
like, ooh, you can do that?
Yeah. What is this, the Sex and the City episode?
Yeah, seriously.
I may have been on a few dates with a firefighter.
Really?
would.
Oh,
I
who
love
haven't
it.
you gone on a few dates with? I swear.
Oh boy. 21.4% of U.S. camera operators are female. 7.8% of U.S. aerospace engineers are female, and 20% of U.S. software developers are women.
Wow.
So in the U.S., only 6.6% of women worked full-time in male-dominated occupations in 2017.
Wow. I wonder what
Jeez.
what the percentage is in comedy. What would you guess?
I'm curious about that too. I feel like it's obviously gotten higher
right.
than it used to be, right?
It's also hard because it's like, okay, what
How do you
qualifies
qualify?
as a comic? I mean, as far as
Full-time,
like
maybe.
working full-time comics.
Working full-time comics?
Yeah. What do you think? 15?
10 to 15.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably
That sounds right, right?
Yeah. It's low, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not 3.5 though. Man, we got to fight some fires.
We do gotta fight some fire.
We gotta fight some fires. So why don't women participate in male-dominated careers? There are a variety of factors. So one, lack of awareness. Preconceived notions about career norms that women receive at a young age may minimize their participation or interest in certain careers, which I think is totally true. I mean, I feel like that for sure. Firefighting. I feel like we all had a moment just now where we were kind of like, let me just imagine that for a second.
Sure, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because when you do say firefighter, I do think of a hot man.
And like a big guy.
A big guy.
Right.
Yeah. I don't
absolutely.
think of a woman typically. And that's probably because of just, I think that is a preconceived notion.
Yeah, well, think about like growing up, like, I don't know, just like what society or maybe your family like encouraged. Like, I remember, at one point wanting to be a teacher, and it's like, oh, yeah, like,
Yeah.
and I don't know, just the things that were encouraged. I was never encouraged to like, go into aerospace stuff or,
Yeah.
be a firefighter or any of that. It was like, oh, do you want to be a doctor or a teacher? Or like, I mean, those are great
Yeah.
professions too, but
Yeah.
it didn't feel like an option,
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
Social background is another factor. Cultural implications enable or disable female participation in male-dominated fields. If a woman does not have parental or mentor support to pursue a career, this can deter her success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And finally, life priorities. Many women choose to put their role as a wife and mother ahead of their career decisions. For some, childcare costs are more than what they would earn in the workplace, so many women with kids simply cannot afford to work, which is so crazy, isn't it? That like
Yeah.
you can't go back to work because you
can't afford to work.
you
That's
can't
insane,
afford to work.
right?
Jesus, yeah.
I know so many people like, bachelor's, master's degrees, they had careers, had kids, and now they're stay-at-home parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I think they want to be, so it's not like they feel like they have to like give up their career to do that, but I mean, it's a huge financial thing too.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it is sort of like living in LA. Like living in LA is almost like the kid. Like we have to go on the road to make money
Afford the
to live
kid.
here. Yeah.
You're so right.
Yeah, but then if you have
Yeah.
to pay cat sitters, then
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that's,
Yeah, you're so right. Yeah. I didn't even
Also,
think of
like
it that
when
way.
you think that when like back to elementary school and stuff, like remember like speakers that would come in and like talk to your class and stuff. I don't remember any like female, firefighters or astronaut type people coming in. right? Like,
No, they're working.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I remember any like, career day type of stuff. Like
I never
who the
had
speakers
one.
were.
Did you guys have that?
My dad would come to with schools to do yo-yo demonstrations.
That's fun.
That's a career that people would be like, wow, that's an option. You
It
know?
wasn't really like it wasn't part of like career day. He was just
Yeah.
like the entertainment.
show and tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Yeah, my dad came and taught music a couple times to like mine and my sister's classes. He'd like teach everyone recorder,
Oh my god.
which is a skill that you can take with you into adulthood. Recorder.
Oh my gosh. That is
You ever
so
seen
funny.
anybody play recorder?
I'm not.
Exactly.
Not outside of
It's
a
not a
fourth grade
skill.
classroom.
It's not a skill you need. That's
My dad didn't cheat shit to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, you don't go to the symphony and see anybody with a recorder, huh?
No, I mean, I guess a clarinet is an adult recorder, which I
Sure.
did play for the better part of 6 years. but-
Perhaps an oboe.
perhaps an oboe.
Perhaps an oboe.
I think oboe's pretty hard.
oboe is hard.
Yeah, have you played it?
No, but I've seen like people who go really. I mean, my dad is a symphony musician, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
I grew up like seeing a lot of people do stuff, and I remember him always being like, "Yeah,
Wow.
that's a lot of
Oboe's where it's at, huh?
oboe's a lot of stuff."
Do you think the symphony is a male-dominated field?
Yeah,
Did you
think
do you
so.
play any instruments?
I played flute for
Right, you played flute.
many years.
The
5
instrument of
years,
hot
6
girls.
years.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
geez.
my school too.
I
Yeah.
was doing keyboard for a little bit too. Kane and I just got one as part of our wedding present, and we've been
love
teaching
that.
ourselves how to play. It's been
Oh,
very
that's
fun.
so fun.
But yeah, I don't know how we got on. Oh, in the symphony, I mean, there are definitely more men in the symphony than
Yeah.
women. But no, I don't know by a ton though. But I do think it is a little bit more dominated there.
Yeah, but I think certain instruments are
I
male-dominated.
agree. I was just gonna say, I would
Trumpet.
agree. Trumpet.
Drumline, which I was on,
Drumline.
a big deal. Yeah, no, that was surrounded
Drumline
by
is a cool
dudes.
thing.
Sausage fest on that.
So some of the challenges that women face in male-dominated industries: number one, lack of support and inequitable treatment. Women receive lower economic gains than males in the same field. In the U.S., many of the best-paying occupations are in male-dominated industries, yet women made less than men in median weekly earnings in every male-dominated occupation in 2017.
That sucks.
Time to
Boo.
big boo.
Do you feel like have you ever found out that a male comic got paid more than you for something?
Yeah, but I think the instances where I've learned somebody's paycheck being more than mine, they're like a bigger comic than me. So I've never gone like, oh, it's because they're a guy. In those instances, I've been
Right.
like, well, they're further along in their
Experience.
career.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I don't know. I haven't had the opportunity to ever just like look at a club's paybook and see who's getting what.
Yeah. I do think it's easier, and I'm sorry if we're talking about comedy too much, but this is what we do for a living. I think that in like starting to headline, I think it's easier for male comics to start headlining clubs than it is
Right.
for female headliners. I feel like we need more credits to headline.
Sure.
And then I think I think sometimes guys can be a little dismissive of like, oh, well, you got it because you're a woman and there are less of you, which I think does give us a leg up in some ways in this industry right now.
right now, yeah.
Right now
Right.
is the key phrase there. But I do still think that like clubs and even like people just walking in off the street into a comedy club, we get comments like that all the time after shows that like, we don't like female comics, but you were really funny. Like
Yeah.
they just have like people just have this idea of like if they think of comedian, they think
Right.
of a man, I
Right.
think.
Right. Yeah.
I found out the only thing I can think of really that I know wasn't about credits or anything is I was getting paid less to open for that church comic that I
Oh,
was.
really?
Yeah. Which is not great.
Ew.
Wow.
Yeah, when I found out, I was like, "Oh, that sucks. That's not cool."
Interesting.
But I'm always like, "Is it because I'm a woman, or is it because I'm younger?" Like, you never really
Yeah.
know,
Right.
So there's a lot of factors.
I just
but-
never liked the dismissive kind of culture of like, look, if a dude goes up and has like an okay set or an offset, they're like, he's probably just working on new material. And if a woman gets up there and has an okay or offset, it's like, she sucks. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, I just hate that where it's like, being a woman in a male-dominated field, wherever you might be, comedy or otherwise, it's like, don't you feel like you kind of have to like prove yourself even more? Like,
You don't get the benefit of the doubt.
You don't get the benefit of just kind of phoning it in. Like,
No.
I don't feel like there's a lot of room for, at least that's how I felt. Like, I never felt like there was much room for like failure or
Yes.
Absolutely.
trying it out. I felt like I
Absolutely.
had to go in there prepared almost every time I had a set
Yes.
of some kind.
Yeah.
And I felt like so many dudes don't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's because I feel like there's a luxury there of not having to.
Yeah.
I still feel that way.
Yeah.
I did a show last night that was like a small Sunday show at like a wine cellar, and I was like, okay, I'm obviously going to work on newer shit here because
Right.
it's this like kind of small show.
Yeah.
But I still felt like I almost had to preface it with the crowd, like that I'm about to switch from doing jokes that I know work into some new shit, just to like let even the other comics in the room know, like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
about to say something I've never said before. So if it doesn't work, I don't want anybody to think I'm a bad comic.
Right.
Right.
Which like I don't want to have to feel that way, but
Yeah.
there's still like that little insecurity of if this goes poorly, then I'm not going to get any grace.
Yeah.
period
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
So we're talking about, challenges women face. Women experience sexual harassment in the workplace. In a 2017 survey, 62% of the women interviewed who work in male-dominated industries in the U.S. reported that sexual harassment is a problem in their industry, compared to 46% of women working in female-dominated industries. Wow.
That's still a lot. 46%.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, which it's just shitty that's everywhere.
Yeah.
Have you guys dealt with sexual harassment in the workplace?
Yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would say since my very first job, like comments that should not be made. There was at one place I worked, there was a bet going around on who could bone me first.
Oh,
Can you believe? I was like,
Jesus
and I found that out
Christ.
later on, and I was like, huh.
Did you feel people trying?
Kind of a little, but like it must have just been like a kind of a
joke.
funny joke type of thing. But I've also I feel like there's been harassment by like women as well in like a weird way, where there was I've had a job where like the reason that they wanted to put me in a specific position is because they wanted me to like be on display because they thought I was very attractive, and they wanted me to like
Be the face of the
company and be the first thing people
Yeah.
saw when they walked in. But I didn't want that job. I wanted a different job. And I'm like, look, and I basically found out about that. And I was like, I'm not taking that job. I don't want it. I want this other job where I'm not seen by anybody because I don't want to be seen by people.
I want to work in the basement.
Yeah, and so I feel like there's even that kind of thing. It's like it doesn't always have to be like a dude saying something creepy. And then I just really did not like. And this is not always done like maliciously, but I hated being called like honey or sweetheart instead of my name by like old dudes. I'm like, I've been working here for 4 years. You know my name, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I so badly wanted to like kind of call them honey or sweetheart back, but I just like
Yeah.
never did. I just didn't feel like
You're not my
engaging.
dad.
Yeah, it's
Right.
just I don't know. Learn the person's name, and I know they're from a different generation where that was maybe more acceptable. But I was just like
gross
ugh.
and creepy.
Just made me. It's just kind of cringeworthy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I can't remember. I feel like I've maybe shared it on the podcast before that one of my old bosses, maybe, 5 years ago, longer than that, where everybody in the office kind of just accepted that this guy was like a little off, and nobody felt like actually like threatened by him, but the things he said were so wildly inappropriate that like when he found out I was a comedian, he came up to my desk and was like, I have a joke for you. Why do women get their periods? And I was like, I mean, already right there, huge HR red flag. Like, no, this isn't going anywhere. That's going to be good. And I was like, why? And he goes, because they deserve them.
What? What? That is psychopathic behavior.
And then he just stared at me.
Oh my
while I
gosh.
was like wide-eyed, jaw to the floor. And then he goes, get it?
Oh my god.
Yeah, you hate women.
Yeah, no, got
that's-
it.
yeah.
Got it. That,
Oh my
That
God,
you're insane
what?
and this isn't. Yeah. So that happened. And then at the company holiday party, me and one of my female coworkers had like, she'd become one of my good friends. We had like our arms around each other. And he came up to me and whispered into my ear, are you a lesbian? Because if so, it's a turn on.
Oh my god.
What?
Okay, yeah, those are big ones.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
so much worse.
Those are
Yeah.
big ones.
What?
Yeah.
You guys never complained?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we talked to HR about it, and she
Okay.
would constantly be like, you cannot be saying things like this to people.
And he'd be like, you're talking to me like a lesbian.
it's kind of hot. I kind of like it.
Being assertive. Ooh.
Yeah.
That is wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, to be fair, I like to look at things from all perspectives. I could have been classified to like I felt like.
Do you think you made some dudes uncomfortable?
You moved in with Cam?
Exactly. Like I've dated
You
coworkers.
sleazy corporate
Bad
whore.
boss. I have dated coworkers. I have said things to other people about an attractive new employee and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I have to also be aware of my own shit that like, look, I could have very well made people feel uncomfortable when I was like, wow, who's the new hot guy? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh shit. But
I was like when we had Preacher on.
Right? Yeah.
like,
And we're all just like licking our chops like a wolf in a cartoon, like, woo. Yeah. And we had to be like, hey, by the way,
And
did
so-
we just make you uncomfortable? Sorry if we did.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I have to also be aware of that because not every dude wants to hear that, or like not every other employee wants to hear that.
Yeah.
But I said some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
and like comedy's weird because there's no HR department, and everybody's
God.
just like hooking up and saying shit
So
and like
unregulated.
so unregulated. And there have been times where like I told you a comic said something about my body and I was just like, I don't like that. Yeah. And it's not like it wasn't like mean or anything. It was just like I don't
need it.
Don't need it. Didn't need to know that. Didn't need to know that person even thought, but like everyone, whatever, you're a dude, I get it, you just see pieces of us, but that's what I don't like. I don't like when people compliment parts of my body because it makes me feel like pieces,
Right.
you know,
Not a whole person.
Like chopped up.
It makes me feel like they're like, I like this slice of pie, and which is not, it's not like accurate. I just don't, I don't know. Because again, we do all the same stuff too. Like we've talked about that. I feel like we're like, what comics do you think are attractive?
Right.
But I don't know. There's just something about it that's different.
Yeah.
It's hard too because guys see us go on stage and joke about sex and be really like, you know, again, our acts are huge HR violations in a typical workplace.
Yeah.
And so then I think sometimes you come off stage and whether it be like fellow, you know, a male comic or like an audience member, they go, oh, well, you were just talking about that on stage. So now I can talk to you a certain way or touch you a certain way. And, you know, when we did the Me Too episode, I talked about my experience with a male comedian who, you know, like just kind of kept pushing things until it was like, you know, a form of sexual assault and it went too far. And this is a guy who just, I think, thought he could go there because like he saw me telling sex jokes on stage and that I would be like into that or something. And it was just, it's really hard in this job to like want to be yourself and be friendly with people and have people not get the wrong idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also always had a hard time trusting opportunities in comedy because I'm like, do they just want to sleep with me? Are they booking me because I think like they think that
Right,
like,
right.
okay, this is like a way to, you know, get to know me or whatever.
Right.
I mean, I feel like some I was proven that was correct and some not, but like I never fully trusted like until much later on. I'm like, okay, I think I'm getting booked because they like my comedy and stuff.
Right.
But it took a while to like kind of feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And like it was almost like, God, this is. I just feel like there's like a they expect like a quid pro quo here or some
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're
And-
giving you this spot. So
Right.
Yeah,
And I'm
scratch
like,
my
I
back scratchers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Luckily, I didn't get hot until I was successful. So I never worried about that. I was also a child. I was a baby. And so I did not ever think about that.
Oh my God. There's this sleazy booker here in LA. And right when I first moved here, like, 10 years ago for a couple summers, he would do like bringer shows, which if the audience doesn't know, bringer shows are where like you get booked on something under the agreement that you're going to bring audience members.
right.
And this guy would get drunk on wine and his teeth would turn purple. And he'd always wear like an insane amount of just gasoline cologne, just covered in this potent smell. And he would get drunk and he would kiss me on the top of my head. What? Yes. And then I would smell like him for 48 hours. I couldn't get it off my body. It was like a skunk. It was so horrendous and so violating. It was like,
dude.
that's how he would say goodbye to me, is he would kiss me like directly on the very top center of my head. It was so disgusting. I fucking hated it. And I
God,
very
dude.
quickly after that stopped doing that guy's show.
I feel like I had so many not so great experience right off the bat with stand up. Like,
did you tell the story, and you don't have to get into it if you don't
Yeah.
want, but like about when that guy asked you to go on the road?
Yeah.
You talked
So-
about it on Me Too episode?
I don't know if unless
but
I
that's
told you guys
such an
off.
exact, like for this episode of
Oh
like,
my God, dude.
Yeah.
I got booked to open for a headliner in Vegas, and was told that separate rooms, pay, all that stuff, right? And
You drove there together, right?
Drove there together. 10 minutes outside of the hotel that we're performing at, or casino. I got news from the hotel that they don't have enough rooms for 2 of us, so we're gonna have to share a room. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what? Doesn't seem right. Like, what? Didn't they know that you're like bringing an opener and all that stuff? Yeah, I guess there's like an event and they don't have enough. I'm like, and I'm new, and I'm like, maybe this happens, and this is like go with the flow thing. And I'm like, well, separate beds, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, separate beds. So we do the show, seems fine, totally fine, right? I go up to the room first because I'm going to bed earlier. So I do the show and I go upstairs, and then he comes in later, crawls into bed with me and tries to kiss me. And then I get mad, obviously, like, what the fuck are you doing? I thought you like brought me here because you think I'm funny and stuff. He's like, I do think you're funny, but I also think you're like attractive, and maybe you and I was like, no, the answer is no. And it even worse that like he was in a committed relationship. I think he was just engaged to somebody. Like, it was not good. And he ended up apologizing, and I said something like, well, yeah, thank you. You should be sorry.
Yeah.
Not feel good about that.
Can you write down who it was? Because I think I remember, but I forgot.
I'll tell you after.
Oh, okay, I want to
He's
know.
the worst. I hate this guy.
And then he was like, well, I mean, I apologize. I was like, so he was like, basically took back the apology immediately. Anyway,
real winner.
So yeah, and then we drove back, very uncomfortable, didn't say much. And then anytime I've seen him since, I just, kind of like, we've never brought it up. I just kind of avoid it. There's been situations where like I may have, like, if it was somebody else, I may have been like roped into like a group kind of something with that person. And, usually like just kind of avoid that like type of stuff.
Yeah.
But
how would you not start to worry that that's a thing though?
Yeah.
About like, oh, am I just getting booked because somebody
Exactly.
wants to fuck me?
And
when somebody books you and then tries to fuck you.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, how as a woman do you not start to question that shit?
yeah, and so I got asked to go on the road again by somebody, very nice comic, but I just didn't know. And I'm like, look, I made up a lie. I'm like, I have to be back early in the morning for an appointment that I can't miss. And so like, do you mind just like us going to do the show and then coming right back? He's like, are you sure? Like, it's a really bad turnaround. Like, we can just get a hotel and stuff. And to this day, he was probably fine, but I was like, no, I will drive us.
Yeah.
We did a 12-hour turnaround, you guys. It was going up to Northern California, did the show, and then I drove back immediately because I just didn't want to put myself in that situation. And I'm like, I just don't know. Like, and like you said, like, you don't know if it's going to get bad. You know what I mean?
exactly.
And so I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to be really exhausted. We're going to get home at like 4 or 5 in the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there was also, this is kind of a tangent, but then I also had like a weird stalker situation from the first couple years of doing stand-up. I had a guy come to like 6 different shows in a row, try to give me gifts after the show. He would like sketch me when I was like,
Oh my
when he was in the
God.
audience, showed up to my apartment.
What?
Yes. So there's so I was like
I remember this.
I was like very tainted by stand-up so early on that I don't think there's part of me that I don't think I like fully ever like wanted to get deeper into and like get involved. And I'm like, I wonder if I had a different kind of experience, or maybe those things happened later, that maybe it would have been like this less kind of like scary like vibe when I think about comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that was just a couple instances, but yeah, I don't know, dude.
Gross.
I don't know, but it's like we don't want to have to think about that shit.
No.
I know.
You shouldn't have to think about that stuff.
It's
you know?
already hard enough just to do your job and do it well without having to worry about any of this bullshit.
Exactly.
I know.
And now a word from our sponsors. Thanks to Care of for supporting our podcast. During this time of the year, it can become harder and harder to stay on track with your health, wellness, and fitness routines. Care of is a great option to stay on track with taking your vitamins and keeping up your healthy habits. All you do is you take a short, fun 5-minute quiz and answer easy questions about your diet, lifestyle, and health needs. You'll get a research-backed recommendation with the vitamins, supplements, and or protein powders you need based on your completely personalized quiz results. Vegan and vegetarian supplement options are available.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Seriously. It's amazing.
To match your dietary needs and to make sure that you're getting the nutrients you need for those specific diets. Care of is personalized for you even down to the packaging. The vitamin packs and protein tubs say your name on them. They say your name on them.
They're so
they
cute.
have little quotes.
They're the best.
They're the best.
It's such a great way to start your day.
Absolutely,
it really
right?
is. You feel so taken care of.
You really Oh, she said it.
Would it be an ad read without a dad joke from Delaney? No, it would not. No, it would not.
Oh my gosh.
It really, I mean, it does though, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
really does feel like somebody took a moment to just sit down and go, but what do you need, baby girl?
Yeah, exactly.
Just stroke your hand.
It's like
Yeah.
the feeling like a parent packed your lunch for you or
It
something
is
and
like
wrote
that.
a note on it. Like,
Yeah.
have a great day.
Yeah.
We love the online quiz. You
Yeah.
know we love online quizzes to personalize stuff.
Yes, I'm always working on keeping my skin clear and keeping my energy up.
Yes.
Because those tend to fluctuate in my life.
Yes. So you
Same.
can customize it for that.
So for 50% off your first Care of order, visit takecareof.com and enter promo code HELPLESS50. That's 50% off your first Care of order when you go to takecareof.com and enter HELPLESS50 at checkout.
We've also teamed up with HelloFresh again, which is awesome, and they are offering everybody in our audience 9 free meals if you go to hellofresh.com/helpless9 and use the code helpless9. That's HELPLESS and then the number 9. HelloFresh gives you home-cooked meals, just made so simply. HelloFresh makes cooking delicious meals at home a reality, regardless of your comfort in the kitchen. HelloFresh is also flexible. It fits your lifestyle. You can add extra meals to your weekly order, as well as yummy sides like garlic bread and cookie dough. Oh my God. Cookie dough is so good. Make deliciousness part of your every week. HelloFresh has more 5-star recipes than any other meal kit, so you know you'll get something that is delicious. And I mean, I've been shouting HelloFresh off the top of the mountain for so many months now. We had them as a sponsor early on, and then I've continued to use it. It is what Kane and I eat every week. I currently have it in my belly as I'm talking to you guys. We had it for dinner, as we do every night. We had the loaded sweet potatoes, which is just one of my all-time favorite dishes.
Yummy.
They're so good. They've been incorporating Beyond Burger.
I saw that. Thank you, HelloFresh.
Yeah.
Thank you for making the vegans feel welcome.
And it was so good. And now I've
Yes.
started to eat more Beyond Burger. So
Yes.
they've got so many options. They also have like an entire vegetarian week of meals you can choose from. So there's
Yes.
truly something for everybody. I love them so much. You can get 9 free meals with HelloFresh by going to hellofresh.com/helpless9 and use the code helpless9. That's HELPLESS9. Now back to the show.
Tips for how to excel in a male-dominated career. Number 1, speak up and share your work. Your professional superiors are busy, okay? So let them know your skills and goals in their company. Let your boss know what upcoming projects excite you. Schedule a formal time once a month to let your boss know that what you'd like to work on. Document all your work because it's hard to steal credit for public work. That's
Love
a good
that.
tip.
Yeah.
And if you have a great idea, make a demo because it's hard to argue with a strong proposal.
Hell yeah.
Number 2, bond outside of the workplace, but set your own boundaries. Some of the best career interactions come outside of the office. Make sure to join in on these social events, even if they aren't your usual cup of tea. I feel that way in comedy, like hanging out. Like a lot of times I don't want to do it. I do worry about giving people the wrong idea. I am always really concerned about like, okay, how am I coming across? Do I seem like a dude or like a bro or whatever? It's so
Right.
stupid that you even have to think about it, but I do. And it is important to know when to protect the professional nature of your relationships. As software developer Patricia Ice advises, leave functions early before your colleagues are drunk because neither you nor they want you to know their inner thoughts.
I feel like that
think
was
that's
directly to me. Drunk Delaney at work functions.
I've been
Yikes.
super drunk at work functions. Oh my God.
Oh boy. But yeah, I think it's always good to like you gotta tell like your mentor or your boss like what you're actually interested in. Like they might not know.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember one of my previous jobs, like when I found out about an opportunity, I walked straight into my boss and I was like, I want this because of X, Y, and Z. I don't care about any of these other opportunities. This is the only one I care about. So will you please like consider me for it. And then I got it because I was like, hey, I'm going to walk in and just tell them what I want. And so it could be as simple as that, especially if like you've done a good job in the past and stuff. So I think we also we need to be more assertive as women too.
Definitely.
And speak up.
I agree. And number 3, get a sponsor. A sponsor is a mentor who will promote you within your organization and who has your back and will voice your value to the rest of the organization or company. So start building relationships with your boss and other senior leaders from the beginning. Camille Stewart, Senior Policy Advisor for Google, encourages women to proactively seek out a diverse set of mentors inside and outside the organization and industry, male and female, junior and senior. The intersection and synthesis of all this advice can provide the insight needed, she said. That's really good. Yeah.
That's so applicable to lots of different fields.
Yeah. You got to find the people who are going to support you and make you feel less alone, especially if you're in a field like this.
Absolutely. And the people that will be in your corner.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Wow. Well, thanks for writing in and saying that you wanted us to cover this, guys.
Yeah. If you have I'm curious to know if any of our listeners work in any of these professions that we've kind of mentioned or something that's, very male dominated and how they've kind of navigated that as well, like what their personal tips have been and stuff like that.
Yeah. We have an iTunes review of the episode. This is from Bombshell1022. It says, I just turned 40 and I'm a noob to podcasts. I have had some things recently change in my life and started spiraling into a dark web of fear, insecurity, and anxiety. I found the Self-Helpless podcast on a whim when I searched anxiety. I listened to one episode and was hooked. It's refreshing to know that women of all ages experience the same kinds of feelings I'm having. Thanks, girls, for helping me to restore my confidence and for guiding me down the path to becoming mentally stronger. Oh, thanks so much. That's an awesome review.
Very nice.
Thank you. As always, if you guys haven't yet, please give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It's a chance to be featured on the show. Helps us a ton. Got some segments.
Yeah,
we do.
Do it.
Am I first? Oh, well, I didn't think I was, but I will now. I forgot mine. I'm going to be honest.
Do you want somebody else
That's
to
a
go?
I want someone else to go.
We're very real on the show, you guys.
Yeah, I forgot what it
Unedited
is.
us.
And I think it was a self-careless, but I can't. Oh, you know what? I got a good shit. I found it. We rummaged around in the garbage and we found something in there. I have a good shit. I was on the road this weekend in St. Louis, and it was kind of like, it was not an easy weekend. It was tough. Like, I got delayed 6 hours. That's a defuck. I got delayed in Vegas for 6 hours on Thursday. My show was supposed to be at 8. I landed at 9:30, and we drove straight to the club, and they just pushed the show back, and I still did it.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah, did I not?
No,
I
thought you had to miss it.
Nope, I thought I had to miss it too, and I'm texting them from the plane. I bought Wi-Fi, and I was like, I'm so sorry. I've never missed a show. I'm so sorry. And they were just
That's
like...
not your fault.
No, it wasn't. But they were like, no. We sent out an email blast to everybody who had tickets and told them that if they wanted to go to a Friday or Saturday, they could move to then, and that you might not make it, but you also might. And then they started the show at 9:10, and we're having people like basically tread water until I got there. So I got there at like 9:55, went up at 10 o'clock, and some people had gotten there at like 7:30. People had been there for a long time, just waiting for the show to start. And so that's how it started. And then I had morning press on Friday, and then you're exhausted all day. And then Saturday I felt better, but my shows were not great on Saturday. And throughout all of that, I did not take any Klonopin,
Hey, good job.
felt
Boo.
pretty good. Thank you. Not that I am against taking Klonopin, because I'm not, but I have been very, open with my psychiatrist about it, where I was just like, I don't want to get hooked on anything. I don't want to be addicted to anything. And she's like, well, I'm not going to give you enough to be addicted. She's like, if you take one every day, I'm going to be concerned. And so she'd said, like, try not to take more than 3 in a week. And like, when I was in Tempe last week, I took like 4 in a week. So that was like every day needed to do it. Yeah. And it's been hard to navigate, because she's like, you should take it when you're starting to feel anxious. And I'm like, well, then I'll take it every day. Like, it has to be like a last resort. And going into all these road weekends by myself, I have been like nervous about it and nervous about how it's going to affect me emotionally and all that. And you just never know, and you can like only do the best you can. But the fact that I didn't feel like I needed to take one, or I didn't get to that point this weekend, was like, I felt very good about that. It made me feel like, okay, great. Maybe I can do this and I'll be fine. And
That's great.
That is
Thanks.
good.
I'm happy to hear that.
so that's mine. What do you guys got?
I have a good shit.
Let's hear it.
I got booked to do the NBC show A Little Late with Lily Singh,
Right
which is
on.
a cool announcement for this episode because Lily Singh is the first female late night host. So fuck yeah, she's working in a male-dominated field.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't know, her show just premiered, I think, like a month or so ago. It's fairly new. It's on NBC, so it goes Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Late Night with Seth Meyers, and then Lily Singh is, I believe, like the 1:30 a.m. spot. It's very, very late at night. But I was in LA. I had just flown back from, I think, New York the day before that. I'm like sitting in my bathrobe, chilling with my cats, and then my managers called. It was maybe 1 PM, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to sit down." And I was like, "Okay." And they're like, you just booked A Little Late with Lily Singh, and you're taping it today. And I was like, oh, what? And my brain fell out of my asshole. So I literally had like 5 hours to get ready for a late night set, which is nuts. It kind of could not have been more opposite of my experience with doing The Tonight Show, because The Tonight Show I'd put in like a year in trying to get it, like lots of sending tapes back and forth. And then when I got it, I had a month in advance. So that was like a full month of just, thinking about it all the time, lots of anxiety, lots of preparation. This was, could not be more different. They had a fallout, a female comedian who I still don't know who it was. I'd love to know who it was, but dropped out. And then they contacted my management company and they're like, we need a female comic who can do late night today.
Wow.
And my managers were like, here's Kelsey's tape. And they were like, right away, we're like, perfect, she's booked. And the managers called me and they were like, we wouldn't have even like put you up for it if we didn't know you could do it. Like, you're a veteran. We wouldn't send a client who's like never done late night before, but like, you got this, you can do it. So I was like, okay, if you say so. You know, like my managers are awesome. If they're listening, I love you guys. Thank you for making me feel confident enough to do that. But so I had no time to even like get nervous, right? Because I just was like, well, I have literally 5 hours until I'm on stage doing this. So I just showered, painted my nails, tried to make sure I knew what jokes I was going to say. And it was such a lovely experience. Like everybody there was so laid back and nice. Because Lily Singh is, if you guys don't know, she's got like 16 million YouTube subscribers or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, so she started on like YouTube stuff?
Yes. Yeah. And now has her own late night show on NBC, a late night talk host, talk show host. So her fan base is primarily also kind of like younger women and, small studio, maybe like 40 people there. Again, like very different vibe than the Tonight Show. But the whole crowd was like young women, and they were just so like sweet and fun. And the set went great. And then like afterward, I just went back home. Like it taped like 20 minutes from my apartment. It was very laid back and fun. And the only thing that's kind of a bummer is that the set doesn't air until April. They pre-taped a bunch of episodes, so it's not the typical like late night thing where it airs the next night. Have to wait till April for it to come out. But it was like, it felt really good. And I feel like I've been saying a bunch on here, maybe in the last few months, about how like I just got to focus on what I can control, which is like my jokes and my content, and that like the credits, like they'll keep coming when they're supposed to come, but I can't control them. And it's like almost as soon as I said that, then like one literally fucking came in with 5 hours notice, which was so insane.
That's
but
so cool.
I almost would prefer that going forward. I know that's like probably not possible, but like it was kind of nice. I never thought that somebody as type A as me would like enjoy doing something with that short of notice. But I think that was much healthier for somebody with my anxiety than having a month to like obsess and freak out.
Yeah,
So
that's how
awesome.
that's how I feel about death. I just want it to like happen, and I don't want to have time to think about it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's most. Well,
right?
maybe it's not most people. Maybe some people want a month to go like, I got to do all these things I want to do.
Well, those people are dumb.
Hit me with that train, baby. Hit me with that train, baby.
That's so funny.
Anyway, that's my good shit. So I'll make
really,
another.
I can't wait to see it.
I know, that's going to be fun. But it'll be like your birthday surprise.
Yeah, it comes out the week of my birthday.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely give it a shout out on the podcast when it's coming, so you guys can set your DVRs or see it online. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, guys. I don't, usually I feel like I've been doing a lot of good shits recently, and I'm going to do a fuck, because I don't really have anything specific, but I'm just kind of feeling like a real blah week.
Pregnant?
You know?
I'm sorry, that was too much negativity in 60 seconds.
Maybe you're pregnant. I'm like, I don't think that's it. But
Whenever someone says off or like off balance, I'm like, pregnant.
you know, when you just kind of like get into, and you're just like, I don't know. I can't pinpoint anything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like,
Just feel off.
just feel like my motivation isn't,
What would help you feel
up.
better?
That's a good question.
You want us to take you out dancing?
Ooh, that'd be fun.
You need a little booze? I'm such an enabler.
Prescribing dancing. I think
that's what makes me feel better.
Yeah. That's very sweet. I think it's just like
I'm gonna still wrap you in a blanket really, really tight and feed you things. That was
That's what
what
makes
makes
me
me feel better.
that sounds very good. I think it's like I just put a lot of like self-imposed pressure on myself for like work-related things and my businesses and stuff, and like I don't know, my self-care just kind of goes out the window.
Yeah.
And I think I have a hard time kind of balancing that a little bit better, implementing that more, and like I just kind of feel like
Yeah.
right now, but I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, but
You'll shake it off.
Not in like a bad way, but like when you kind of get to the point where it's like, what's the point of all this anyway?
Yeah.
But not like I'm
Yeah.
really super super depressed, but just kind of like, I'm just gonna go out and do this thing because like who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I get that.
So yeah.
If
But
we can
I don't
help you.
I don't really
let us
know. My
Yeah.
God, Taylor.
You're not
I don't
pregnant.
think so. I guess that's another, not a defuck, but maybe it's a defuck / good shit. I feel like the kid thing has been coming up a lot. Like, I feel like we've all been trying to like figure out that whole situation. And I think Cam and I have agreed not to have kids. Yeah. We've
decision.
come to that decision, which
Yeah.
I was like really teetering back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I guess that could be my segment.
Yeah.
Boom.
That's
Hey-o.
pretty good.
Big
Yeah.
one, yeah.
That is a good one.
Aw, well, thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
When does this come out?
This comes out on the 11th of November. You guys can go to kelseycook.com for tour dates. I'm taking most of this last half of the month off because I'm getting my moles removed and I'm under doctor's orders to not move my face a bunch.
Ooh, I wonder if your throat thing will get better when you're not
I
talking
know.
and
It's
doing
so like,
stuff.
hurts right now. But yeah. So go to kelseycook.com. Go watch the Risks of Fury episodes. There's going to be some new ones on the YouTube channel by the time this comes out. So go check them out.
I'm at the Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle in Royal Oaks, Michigan, November 21st through the 23rd, and then the Comic Strip in Edmonton, Canada, December 12th through the 14th. And
Nice.
I'm probably exhausted after my taping, and I'll be in LA and New York during that time also. So just keep an eye on ttomcomedy.com or my Instagram where I post a lot of shows.
There you go. And I just want to tag or plug dicksbydelaney.com. Just get your dick cartoon orders in because we're gearing up for the holidays.
Christmas time,
We're
people.
ready for all your white elephant gifts and stuff. So we're just having a blast with all that. So hit that up.
Love you guys.
Love ya.
Talk to you next
you.
time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys so much for listening to Self-Helpless. We love you guys so much. There are a few different ways you can support our show. You can leave us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It really helps us move up the charts. You can also tell a friend about the show, post it on social media, and you can join our Patreon. It's where you can get bonus episodes from us and lots of really fun content and ways to interact with the show. That's at patreon.com/selfhelpless. And if you go to selfhelplesspodcast.com, that's where you can get links to all of our individual stuff. Delaney, where can people find you?
You can find me at DelaneyFisher.com. You can find the online courses there, one-on-one creative consulting, watch my comedy special, and find Dicks by Delaney there.
Perfect. Tay, where can people find you?
You can find me on ttomcomedy.com for tour dates and links to everything else social media-wise. I am at Taylor Tomlinson on Twitter and Instagram.
Perfect. You guys can find me at kelseycook.com for all my tour dates. My Instagram is at kelseycookcomedy. Twitter is at kelseycook. Please be sure to watch my foosball web series on YouTube called Risks of Fury. I've had Delaney and Taylor on together. It was such a fun episode. And you can download and buy my album Savor It on iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you find comedy albums. We also want to give a shout out to our amazing producer, Lauren Mahoney, and our amazing editor, Emma Erdbrink. We love you guys, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Can you help